Patryck.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh, I should have closed this window. Where are
yes,
you?
yes, you're exposed.
So,
You're
still under the
daydreaming with
snow?
the birds.
Yes, I have birds and cows with bells and this. Are you still under the snow?
No, it tries every now and then to come back, but thankfully, we've managed to get rid of it for a little while anyway.
Okay,
Yes,
I think it was also. It's just raining today. So,
nice.
you told me that we have many questions.
Yes, it's absolutely urgent that we do this
Okay.
because I've been receiving so many questions about skin conditions,
Ah.
obviously. A
Mm.
lot of estheticians are interested in our classes
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
um, this eczema and psoriasis.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah, when it starts to show up on the face and especially holistic estheticians who are really looking to solve the problem from dealing with the pathology inside. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought let's jump on and
Yes.
let's chat about it a little bit.
Yes.
Um,
Let's
it's a
try to
very
give
big topic.
easy
It's a very
solutions.
big topic, so we're just going to do a little bit of basic stuff, but
Yes.
yeah.
Good. Well, I meant to be on the track and see that we have many ways to translate knowledge into Dien Chan, into Chan Beauté, well, into the authentic method of facial reflexology. So yes, so why don't you describe maybe for people that don't exactly know what is eczema, what is psoriasis? Okay, they're all skin issues, but would be good maybe to say what in the Western point of view, and then we will complement with other Oriental knowledges that are very interesting too.
Yeah, thanks. So, I mean, if you get eczema or psoriasis on the face, it's something that you're pretty aware of, and there's some emotional aspect to it even too. Um, but kind of from more of the Western perspective, they look at the body as your skin is really just an extension of your brain, right? Because in vitro, the nervous system grows out into your skin. That's why you can feel things when people touch you. So one perspective from that is the nervous system.
Hmm.
And so we can look at the general state, and we'll talk about that more when we get to the treatment plan. But they think about it in terms of the nervous system, and then they do see it as an overgrowth of kind of this bacteria. So a lot of times they'll prescribe
Mm-hmm.
antibiotics, which can actually have a reverse effect because it can increase more of the bacteria in the
Yeah,
body,
yeah.
especially if it's overprescribed. But then a lot of times they give like a cortisone cream and a steroid cream to put on, which is sort of what the adrenals are supposed to be helping us with and fighting infections and inflammations in the body. So,
Mm.
kind of nervous system, bacteria. Um,
Mm-hmm. So yes, we have to translate all this information that is always very useful, and Western medicine is very good in observing, and then the solutions are not always appropriated when they are too strong, and they could destroy the microbiota of the guts of the large intestine. So you said many things for nervous system. So each time, this is a bit what we want our public to understand, is that each time we grab an information like all the things that you said, it's to be able to translate them into Dien Chan or Chan Beauté action. So when you've been talking about nervous system, I say, okay, many skin disease, many skin issues are in fact involved with the nervous system, and this is really true. So it's good to take care of the general state of the client first, so not to attack directly the skin or whatever. But so if it's a nervous system and we really think this person is suffering a kind of stress, it's good to remember the rake, this simple tool but so effective, no, that we have to rake from the forehead to the nape. We are not combing, it's not hairdresser. We are just raking very slightly like this, very nice. So it's good to be behind the person, raking, and well, 3, 4, 5 minutes depending, and you will see that the person is going to breathe better. We'll see that breathing and the skin is completely related, and so we are calming down. So this simple massage or exercise, it's already very effective, and it's opening doors to be able to continue the treatment. So we are going to, this is a holistic treatment. No? It's to treat the general body, not only the problem. So you said nervous system, then you said the bacteria into the large intestine, the gut. So here we are going to translate this into actions on our diagrams and of Dien Chan. What else did you say? You said, yes, you said adrenals. You said adrenals, very important. But well, in fact, you said corticoids. So for us, we know that the adrenals are also producing natural corticoids in the body. So we have very reflex zones of the kidney and the adrenals, very precise. So this also we are going to incorporate it in our treatment. What else did you say? Adrenals, bacteria, we said that the microbiota of the gut, so we are going to work this. And also we can think about what the Chinese medicine is saying about the skin. So we could add also the metal element, which is involving also the large intestine. So we're already treating it for the microbiota, but also the lungs. And the lungs is the breathing, and the skin is to breathe. So
yeah. Well, we learn a lot about that in module 1, right? We go much deeper into the organs, and we go much deeper into learning how to do your facial diagnostics and learning the diagrams on the face and learning a little bit more of the elements. But I think for today, we're just going to stick to mostly the gut and strengthening the gut and helping that nervous system to calm down a little bit. Especially, I like what you're showing. The first step in a treatment plan is going to be dealing with that general state of a person. And a lot of people are dealing with stress. So one amazing solution, like Patryck was saying, is to rake the head, right? We know the brain is there, and that's part of the central nervous system. So if we can access the central nervous system and calm down the cranial nerves in here, it's going to be amazing. And like he says, make sure you're going from the hairline all the way down through the back. We've also got, and if you had someone lucky, they could actually go all the way down on either side of your spine. That's also pretty lovely.
Fantastic.
But you can do this for yourself. I rake my head all the time. It feels fantastic. So you can do it for yourself. You can also do it on your clients. So this would be a really great first step in a treatment plan.
I don't do it now because if not, I fall asleep. It would be a shame to leave you alone. Sorry. Yes, very important to treat the general state, and also it's a good introduction to if the person doesn't know the method, if you is not used to come to your consultation room. So it's a very good approach, and it's not long but very effective.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you face dramatically, we talk about this in class too, a little bit more in module 2, but making sure you don't just dive right into the face like a cat. Yes, good. Okay, so then let's talk a little bit about some of the other perspectives. There's a more of a holistic, even like nutrition side of things, and some philosophies from the Eastern side of things, talking about that this bacteria likes to grow in sort of warm, more humid. It's sort of the philosophy of it. From your holistic nutrition perspective, it's talking about growth in yeast and bacterias. It's a progression. We see eczema on the face, and then it really kind of progresses into psoriasis. It's of the same family, so we don't really differentiate a whole lot in Dien Chan, but it's interesting for all of these different perspectives so that we get to notice a difference. So for us, we don't necessarily care much of the name, and we'll see that as we come into step number 2 of our treatment plan. We don't really care of the name, it's just the degree of discomfort that we
Yeah,
see. So
yeah. It's a skin issue for us, and so it's not important to spend too much time on the name. And yes, you're
yeah, and
completely
all those
right.
kind of details.
Mm,
So, bacteria, yeast, from a nutrition standpoint, it's also higher estrogens.
mm,
So if there's higher estrogens in the body, it likes to feed off of those things and also can
mm.
affect the gut. So we could also then kind of go off depending upon, our secondary system, if you will, into whether or not it's an endocrine, maybe. So there's things that we can do from
And many
here.
time also you can ask questions, because we have to continue the dialogue constantly with the client, and maybe they know because they've been doing analysis in the with the doctor or in the hospital, and they know, yes, it's true, I have this, or I have a hormonal treatment, and or I had an ovary issue, or breast something. And so it's true that through the dialogue we will have a clear path where is maybe located the weakness, and which organ is not working or communicating with the others very well. And so when you said it's hot and humid inside and not outside, because outside the skin most of the time is quite dry, but inside it can be really the origin of the problem, is what you said about the hot. And it's easy to remember when we have in winter, or if you go out of the swimming pool and you put the socks and the same one that you came with, and it stays humid, and this, everybody knows that it can be a bit a good place for fungus to develop. So you see hot and humid. So this also is happening inside if the microbiota is not balanced, is weak, or not only the gut, not only the large intestine. It can be also maybe because of an excess of heat from the small intestine. It can be maybe the liver that is not filtering well. It can be many things.
The blood, it can be the blood if it's
The
not
blood.
taking things and moving things, right? Which would also come into the, stomach and small intestine and the heart, and then also again the lungs and the large intestine, right? They're so closely related.
And this is the very good luck we have with Dien Chan, is that we are not going to open the body and operate. We don't need to, but we can test
Oh,
from
what?
no. No.
Oops, I've been
Put your
doing it
mask.
wrong.
But no, but we can test. We can test from the face. We can test, we can see, we can learn. Well, all this you teach it in the second module more, and with how to do facial diagnostic. But we can get a lot of information, not only from the dialogue with the person that has information, but also from reading and testing and checking the tenderness of some reflex zone or some precise points. And this is going to help us to build a very personalized treatment. So this is our objective, Erica. We always repeat this. We want you to become a care designer. And so this is what we like. Our students are really designing protocols and cares very personalized for their clients.
Yes, and this is where definitely it gets to be so fun. Like I just have to say I love this technique, because the more you learn, the more options you have, and that is where, like, a shout out to the Faces It program. If you guys haven't downloaded it already, it's so fantastic. No, it's not going to regurgitate treatment plans for you, and it's not meant to, but the more I go back to it, the more I learn, and the more I learn on the outside, I go back to the app and I read more, because it's absolutely impossible to open that app and understand things right from the beginning. It's something you can grow, learn, and develop with. And so it's absolutely fantastic, because as you start to learn more on your facial reflexology journey and the things that you can do, I mean, I'm coming into 7 years, I think, of this technique, and I'm still learning, like,
Oh yeah, me too.
so many different things, right? Yeah, I can't remember how long it's been. I've tried to calculate in my head. I'm like, I don't know.
No, more than
I
7.
mean, I'm only 27, so it can't be very
For
long.
me, it's 20. Imagine. I met Professor
Wow.
Cho in 2001 and we started working in 2002. So it's 20 years already. Gosh, I'm still so young because of my
I know.
rollers.
You're
Oh my God.
So let's go on to step number two
Yes.
then. Step number
Mm,
two is kind of an idea where we're going to go to where the issue is. Now, we're going to take the example of it showing up on the face because that's what we can see.
okay.
But you can have eczema and psoriasis anywhere on the body. So it's important to understand what the preference of effect is for that
Yes.
person. It's going to give us some information, but this is where the yin and the yang tools are so important, is because of the information that it provides us from the client.
Yes, it is.
All we is one effect or one tool. It just doesn't provide us that. And yes, we have an array of different tools and we have a bunch of different ones, but really they're honestly so helpful.
Yeah, and this is the really one of the power of Dien Chan, the multi-reflex tools, that you cannot do yin massage with other things, with the hands, with the guasha, with all those other tools. It's always very yang because it's always heating. And so here, the yang most of the time is just massage, which is very good because it gives movements on. But with the yang effect of the multi-reflex tools, that is very subtle. You increase the movement, but without hitting or pushing too strong. And with the yin, this is not possible with hands or with other tools. You manage to also work the area, but with a dispersing effect, with a refreshing effect. So in this case, most of the time, it's always good to test like you just said, but most of the time, because we have a dry or hot or red expression of the issue, it sounds like it's yang. In the rosacea, it's obvious, but in eczema, a bit less. In psoriasis, it's very dry. Even if we said that it might be provoked by hot and humidity inside, okay? But with a yin effect, we can help at least the hypodermis, the hyperdermis, and the top one, not
The dermis,
the epidermis,
right? The outer layer.
The epidermis, to increase natural moisturing, at least.
Yeah, we want to, like, that's where I was kind of saying before that it's on a degree, right? If you've got itchy, really dry, scaly skin, most likely the yin is going to feel so pleasant, right? So step number 2 in this treatment plan is going to that local area where you have the skin issue, and it's a degree of, is it just a little bit dry? Is it a little bit, or has it gotten to the point of kind of being flaky and much thicker and a little bit more itchy? So we're using, most of the time, the yin tool is going to feel pleasant, directly rolling right on that area. So we've got yin with the stainless steel, and you've also got yin
Yes,
with your
with
brass
brass
roller.
also.
Yeah, which is super nice.
And the yin of the little roller, and the yin also, but this in skin disease a bit less, of the little rake. This was going to be interesting to refresh the internal organs from the face.
Yeah. Well, and that's why it's so interesting. And a lot of times, for me, perspective, like as a nutritionist, whenever I look at, whenever Western medicine prescribes antibiotics or, heavy stuff, the name's not coming to me. Yeah, steroids, whenever they do that, or what they're doing for a lot of autoimmune disorders now, what are they prescribing? They're prescribing prednisone. Like a prednisone. It's a very heavy steroid. It's a very popular thing. Well, not popular as in a good thing in North America here. It's if an autoimmune disorder, they basically just put most people on it. To me, that kind of says
I don't know.
There's something going on that we maybe don't understand what's going on, actually.
Exactly.
So let's take a look at the fact that we could have this imbalance of yin and yang.
Oh, yes.
That because we see that it's warmth, which could indicate a little bit of yang, and then we have a little bit of humid, which could indicate a little bit of yin, right? So there's a little bit of weakness and there's a little bit of humidity. So
it's provoking an imbalance between all those, between the humidity, temperature inside. And so this is not good for the microbiota of the gut, like you said before. Maybe the adrenals are not doing what they should. And that's why adrenals and corticoid, I don't know, I say corticoid, but you say steroid. I don't know if it's the same thing for you.
Corticosteroids.
Okay, you call them like this. So here they call them corticoid or cortisone. And this most of the time it means, I don't know. It's just something that is cutting the sound or the alarm.
Yeah.
And it's not solving. So, but we have the possibility to help the organs that should be. So if an organ is there and not dead, if it's there, it's not dead. So we can help it. It's maybe just a bit lazy because of many things like nutrition, obviously, like you said before. And so that's why we are going to integrate all this knowledge and interactivate and activate the reflex zone of them. So that's why learning the diagrams, and in this case we are talking about the internal organs and diagram, it's so important to learn how to locate each zone perfectly, then to be able, more you study, to stimulate the precise point of the fixed map. And
so with step number 2, then, just to kind of go back, we're going to test the sensation. And for the most part, we're just going to be rolling yin directly on the actual area. So funny enough, I've had a baby. She's 3 months old, and I've been breastfeeding. And we know at this time that there's higher levels of estrogen. Well, I've never had eczema on my face. I had eczema as a kid, but I've never had eczema on my face. But I have... It's just, photoshopped out a little bit right now. But I have a little bit of eczema coming in through here. And so it is very pleasant to roll yin first, but I also know that I want to bring blood to the area to be able to take away toxins and to also bring some nourishment to that local area. But step number 2, we're going to roll yin directly on the issue, directly over top of the issue, usually just for a couple of minutes. We're just looking to provide a little bit of flexibility to the area, a little bit of comfort.
Very important to remember to always have very elegant movement. I insist on elegant because when you try to have the most elegant movement, you are doing it properly. You are doing it light, nice. It's not necessary to press. No pain is not curing. This is not. We have to be. So when you say elegant movement, then you do things like this. And you're not, because here we don't want to damage the skin, obviously. So it's just to do what you just explained, is to bring the blood, to bring the lymph to the place, to increase the movement of the microcirculation of all the important vital liquids inside the body. Because to drain all this, and then we are going to learn how to eliminate.
And I've been telling a lot of my students and the people that contact me is like, if you have aggressive movements on your face, you're stressed in your brain. So you're kind of working against yourself. So you want to have elegant movements. You want to be thinking about what you're doing, right? We want to direct the chi. We want to direct the body. It's not just working the face. We're working the reflex area that we're seeing on the body as well. So we want to have those intentions. We want to have those thoughts about what it is that we're trying to do for our bodies. So here we're just giving the actual eczema or psoriasis a little bit of love to give a preference and to, give it a little bit of moisture and reduce any kind of itching or irritation that you might be feeling right now. So Patryck talked about it a little bit. We'll move into step number 3, which is then thinking about the diagram. And so for here, we're just going to take a basic area of strengthening the guts.
Yes.
Right? We know that the guts are in that, middle quadrant of your body,
yes.
right? So yeah, that's where it is on the face, but it's kind of in that quadrant area of the body. So we're going to roll then yang, right, Patryck?
Yes.
We're going to
because
yang
we
to
want
strengthen the
to
area.
revigorate, dynamite, to boost, to re-energize the because if it's humid and weak, it's a yin state in a way, even if it's a bit humid and hot, but it's a yin state inside, even if outside it's dry and looks young.
Well, and I think, I think we've talked about it before, and a lot about the yang yin and preparing the garden, right? It's such a good philosophy because we use the yang to boost and to strengthen an area. And then we use the yin to disperse and eliminate. So it's just such a good rule, a good general rule of thumb, especially if you're first starting out with this technique.
Yes.
Think about boosting and livening up and strengthening, and then eliminating and refreshing.
Completely.
Yeah. So we're going to roll on the guts. Right? We're going to roll on the guts. You can do the whole quadrant, right? You can use the small tools, or you can use the big tools. We do have body tools that are really quite pleasant to be able to use for that as well. So rolling the front of your body, rolling the back of your body. Don't worry, roll back and forth. Don't worry about direction. Just get all over the place. Still rolling nice and light, right? We want to have the sensations traveling inside the body, so nothing aggressive.
And always following the natural way, like if you were water, natural. So never against the skin or against the bumps, if there are some.
And then we're going to move to that reflection on the face, right? So now we're talking about our first reflexology thing, where we have the guts on the local, on the actual body part, and then we're going to move them to the face. So then we have the reflex area of the guts in through here, kind of this whole lower quadrant. So we're going to roll yang on that area. You can use the double, you can use a single. It's not going to take too long. Again, even though I have eczema and I typically have dry skin, if your yang is hurting, it's because you're rolling too hard.
Exactly. Very important.
Don't
very
roll
important.
Too hard. It's not supposed to hurt. It's supposed to feel very pleasant, regardless, because it's still healing. Of course, if you have like very dry skin and very painful skin and eczema everywhere, okay, then maybe we're gonna stay away for a little bit. But yes, we're gonna roll yang all over the guts. 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes each step. Nothing too of timing. You're looking for just sensation, right? So your brain will naturally go like, okay, that's enough. And we just need to pay attention, really.
Exactly. Yes. No, it's so effective when we pay attention. We just listen to our body. It's a good also to think about what we are doing, to know what we are doing. All the effects are important. Not only the tool effect. All the brain is involved.
Yeah, really talking to that nervous system and the chi and the blood, right? We have this communication system inside of us, so let's use it, right? So step number 3, we're going to roll the local area of the guts with yang to strengthen it up. We're going to roll the local area on the face, representing the guts on the face. And we're talking guts in terms of small intestine, large intestine, liver, gallbladder, kind of everything within that digestive system there. Your GI tract and your auxiliary organs too. And so then we're going to think about where the skin condition is, and we're going to roll yang around the skin condition, just lightly so that we can bring a little bit of blood flow
to the
to that
place.
area.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And then, so then we'll have step number 6, which is we're going to finish off with yin.
Yes.
Right. So we'll finish with yin on the skin condition and finish with yin to disperse that blood and
exactly to disperse and to help the skin to recover more elasticity after all this work. So if all the works have been done light and nicely, it's going to be very balanced. The complementary, when you've been doing yang, then you are going to finish with yin, and you could also finish, if you have still time, and is to explain something to the client, because there are homeworks they can do also at home. So it has been
it's really important.
Yes, it's our recipe, no, our maintenance. Sorry.
It's our recipe.
The recipe, and to because they can buy a tool from the therapist and do the homeworks like this. At the next session, the professional will go further because it has been activated during the time between two sessions. And in the consultation, I forgot something you wanted to say before, when you've been talking about the liquids and this, and to eliminate, we can apply the reflex drainage.
Yeah, for step number 7, we can definitely do the reflex drainage. So you can find those videos on our YouTubes, and you can find them on the websites. So that's pretty easy, right? Typically, we do it then with our comet detector.
In this case, for example, it can be very good to specify that you do it with the triple one, if you want to do it in a yin way. Because if we've been working a lot and this, well, the skin is a bit hot now. So it's good to do the reflex drainage and to do the 6 steps, but with the triple detector, because the triple, it's the way not to heat so much. It's very fresh to do it with the triple. This, you have a video and a PDF also that you can download in the website, and we will put everything in the description and all the links. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's kind of your 7 steps. To just briefly summarize, we're gonna, in this case, if a person is stressed, we're gonna rake the skull, making sure we go front to back. We're gonna test the sensation on the skin area, which is we're just gonna give a little bit of yin, a little bit of help, and then we're gonna go to the area or the internal aspect that can help the skin, which is going to be in the digestive system. We also learn in module 1 that it's related to the lungs and those other things, which we'll get into a little bit later. So we're going to roll the front and the back in really nice gestures for 1 to 3 minutes. Then we're going to go to the step number 4, going to be rolling on that lower third of the face with yang as well to strengthen the guts. Then step number 5, we roll yang around the issue, coming to the issue, which is part of the 8 principles that we learn as well.
Because also, you know, rolling yang around the issue, what you're doing, it's like this Chan beauté concept that we use so much also for wrinkles, for marks, and this is to bring the deep nutrients to the surface, to nourish this skin that's been expressing this problem.
Yeah, the imbalance. And then we're just going to finish step number 6 with rolling yin on the skin issue again, and then rolling yin on those areas of the body and face as well. And step number 7 would be the reflex drainage.
Yeah, it's a good session like this. So the big question is going to be, but how many times? How long it would take? And this, it depends. It depends on you also, on how you do your homeworks with the tool between sessions, and what Erika said before, nutrition, state of stress, because if you continue having a stupid boss and eating only the funny food you have in North America, it's not going to help. I'm French, sorry, so I have to criticize the food.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Mm,
There are a few different herbs. We're not going to get into it too much, and I'm obviously not a doctor,
mm,
but there are some really great things. Something that I have found that I'm carrying for my clients, it's called anti-MFP, which is a anti-mold fungus
mhm,
parasites, which has been super effective
mhm,
for helping from a nutrition herb,
mm.
working to strengthen the blood and dealing with excess mucus and antifungals, antiparasites, and
And
stuff
this
like
is an
that. So you can,
important point to understand also because it's a very strong concept in Chanbote is that all the work you are doing on the reflex zone, on the body, it's going to make you take full advantage of what you are eating or taking as herb. Like in Chanbote, when we use a very high quality cream, it's always better to do all the Chanbote protocols before, because with all what we have been explaining now, we are moving the nutrients, we are going to boost the skin quality, we are increasing all the movements of the fluids. So then the cream, all the plants you are going to take after are much more, you are taking more advantage of them, of their principle, of their ingredients.
you're actually digesting them better. You're
Much
utilizing them better.
better. Like for the creams on
Yeah.
the skin, they are much. So that's why it's good
You,
because you use less and you can use very good quality. So even if it's a bit more expensive than the typical one, it's you use less, but you take advantage of it much deeper. So it's like in
yeah,
the garden,
because you're
like you
learning.
said before, in the garden, if you don't move the ground before, if you don't prepare the garden, then even if you put fertilizer
On top,
on top,
it's not going to do anything.
exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, no, I think that that's really good. I mean, Patrick, the only thing we didn't really talk about are any fixed points or dealing with
Yes,
BQC points.
yes, of course.
Um,
The
you know,
professional
I
practitioner.
find that people,
mm,
what's that?
No, I'd say the professional that knows Chanbote and Dien Chan will complement all the treatment with some precise points because we've been talking about adrenals, we've been talking about the liver, we've been talking about the blood, so we will test the spleen, we will test all this on the face. So this, of course, we are not going to go into this now. So it's a good help to start self-care and to start and to help a professional to introduce them to that there are many solutions.
But I think it's important to point out because there are a lot of other schools of thought when it comes to Dien Chan and facial reflexology is, kind of going directly to points and thinking about points. And so the challenge with this is, yes, we could think of some generic things, right? In the Chan Bote app, we have a few formulas,
Yes,
and these are
many.
things to get you started. If you're looking to take this as a certification and get into it professionally,
Yes,
it's important to understand and figure out the root cause and moving through your modules, coming to module
of
3,
course.
learning how you're going to read the body and
Yeah.
do your facial diagnostics
Yes.
and what is the formula, what is the appropriate formula for that person. My eczema is around my nose. So thinking more stomach, thinking more gallbladder, and me being able to utilize points. I could share with you the points that have been effective for me,
Mm.
but it doesn't guarantee that they're going to be effective for
And
everybody else
that's why it's
specifically.
important to learn progressively like this because to understand that it works very well when we do all this in a holistic treatment is and to personalize
Yeah.
it. So all what we've been talking about in this video, but of course, then more you know, you will see that you will be able to build formulas to really increase the power of the organs that are a bit weak. So it's not finished, of course, but it's little by little. Of course, if just to do points, then it doesn't work for me. Of course, sometimes it works if you are 18 years old and it's just a very common disease. But no, Dien Chan is not only in points. It's obviously to understand it from the body to the facial reflection zones, then to complement, to understand, to be able to translate into Dien Chan gesture the information that the patient comes with. So it's very important to talk, to have a dialogue, not to write during ages. No, you can have a lot of information after the raking. It's amazing. And if the person has to cry or has to, well, to feel very down and in the moment, it's good. That means that we are opening doors and we'll get good information. And while you are rolling, it's very important to ask, is it pleasant? Do you like it? Because people are very polite. And so if you don't ask, they might think it's good even if it's not pleasant. No, it's important to ask, to be able to understand the way the person is expressing the feeling. So this takes not so long when you are working. It takes ages if you are just listening and writing in a paper without watching the person. You know who I'm referring to.
No, and I think also too, is for our estheticians out there who a lot of their clients just like to relax and, be kind of, well, they like to relax and be a little bit more passive in their treatments.
Wellness.
And so what I have found is if I pick and I've picked the right sensation for that person, most of the time they look up and they go, "What are you doing? What are you using on my face?"
Yes.
If you get this kind of reaction, you're definitely using the correct tool.
Exactly. Completely.
It's a very good cue that you're using the right tool and you're using the right gestures, because it speaks so deeply to their body that it moves them to talk to you.
Completely.
So that's amazing. The reflex drainage is a good homework. You could also tell your clients to do the reflex drainage, following it up with a reflex drainage. So one of your more popular tools that you recommend can be a yin yang tool. And
well, if the sensation of the yin roller has been very good and pleasant, because it's also treating, it's not only the sensation, it's good for them to buy this one. If they want to go further or want to do only the reflex drainage, many of the clients of our students are doing the reflex drainage for themselves. And important also to invite them to check their alimentation, to check the nutrition, the lifestyle also, because skin issues are very related with the skin issues are also telling when it's a psoriasis on body. I saw men with a lot of psoriasis on the whole body. Most of the time it's saying, I don't touch me, or they will never be naked in front of someone else, because it's a way of protecting. And when you talk with them, suddenly you discover, or it's lost the wife, or had a problem, an emotional or a sentimental conflict or something like this. So most of the time it can be also the expression of a deep emotion. So here also we can do a lot. So talking, you have some information. If you are a good listener, you will also think, oh, maybe this person has angst, or has a fear, or has not only stress. And then while you are treating on the face, you can also incorporate those treatments. And here we are using more Chinese medicine knowledge about the organs and the energy that are governing some stuck emotions that we can help to unblock.
Yeah, I think it's very important. And I think, when, some differences between some facial reflexologies and applying just protocols after protocols, it's okay to get you going, because, in the beginning we're a little bit less confident, but we want to empower everyone who starts using this technique, that Patryck nailed it right on the head. If you are a good listener, that is one of the best traits that you can have when going into this technique, because you have to be able to learn how to adapt. And it can feel a little bit weird at first, because you go into a treatment not knowing exactly what you're going to be doing. But it's so freeing, because it allows you to adapt to the client and to be able to make changes. And it's one thing that I absolutely love, because I've now been in this practice over 10 years, and I'm still learning and I'm still adapting and I'm still coming up to things, having the same clients. And one thing they tell me all the time is like, I never know what I'm going to get when I come here. And I say, well, I don't either. I don't know what I'm going to get when you come, right? Like what's changed in the week, what's changed in your life, how are you arriving to me
And
and
you learn.
what am I
And
seeing?
you learn.
Yeah.
Each patient is
Yeah.
it's the way to learn more things. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. So it's pleasant to receive the people. I remember once I was in Barcelona and a student, she was Spanish but she was living in Florida. Well, never mind. And she phoned me, but it was far. I mean, that's why I'm saying this. And she phoned me saying, "Oh, but she was quite old. I mean, that I've been treating patients for, I don't know, 30 or 40 years already. But now, since I took your course, I'm arriving to the consultation earlier. I want more people. I'm not bored. It's funny. It's giving me a new birth in my work, in my job." And she knew many techniques and she never abandoned them, but you can combine. So also it's an invitation to combine with everything you know. So we have many students that start with Dien Chan and then suddenly are interested in other techniques, not to change but to combine. And also we have many students that, even doctors, and that are already or acupuncturists or kinesiologists or whatever, and foot reflexologists, and that are rediscovering what they knew already with this new kind of 3D point of view. That's why we talk about multireflexology, because it's helping you to build bridges between your knowledge, and it's encouraging you to learn more things, to be interested in new approach, to be able to share also with other colleagues and say, what would you do? And then you translate into your way of doing things. So that's why we are very passionate to teach the original method. So it's like the musical grammar, no? Because then you are going to create your own way of using it. But if Erica was teaching you the way she is doing in the consultations, this is not a class. This is interesting, okay? But no, she's teaching you the original method. And then, well, as an example, I like to do it this way, but I have a colleague that is doing it this way. Then you need to know all the musical grammar to then choose if you want to play Bach or I don't know,
Beethoven.
Yeah, or jazz or Rihanna.
Yeah, totally. Well, no, it's we're gonna wrap this up here.
Yes.
Thank you all for staying around and paying attention to us silly folk here. But yeah, I absolutely love teaching it. I have a class that's starting May 31st.
Yes.
And I have a couple that are starting in the fall as well. So you can pop over to my website. We'll have those links in the show notes as well, where we learn more about all of these fun little things. But just to add one last thing is that I've been working with this bioresonance machine, which is a scanner of the body. And what I've been finding on most people and through my research when it comes to these particular skin conditions is that it likes to hang out and that there's weaknesses in the duodenum, in through the sigmoid flexure of the lower bowel colon, and kind of in through that appendix area.
Yes, very important.
So we can even go much further with that, like we were saying before, into the lungs, but we can even go much further into this chat. So this is just a basic place for you to start, and I hope that you put it into play right away. Please leave your comments.
Yes, leave comments, subscribe to the channel you are watching it,
and ask us questions.
Subscribe, leave the comments, and we love to answer everybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, Patryck, I am jealous. I wish I was in France right now.
Yeah, why? To open a bottle of wine and have cheese?
Yeah.
No wine, no cheese today. But yeah, it's late already, so we're going to close. Have a good day. Good. And we talk soon. Big kiss to your little girl.
Yeah.
A nice husband.
All right. Yes. Okay. Well, and thanks everybody for joining us and listening. And we can't wait to hear from you.
Fantastic. Bye.
See you.
See you.